I need to rush off, Priya. I hope you have the access. Right.
Let me just see.
I'm making you the host. It's already started recording.
Okay.
So awesome. Record is on. You are the host.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Priya.
Good evening, Suresh. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I'm going to sort of go straight into it. Let me introduce myself. I'm Priya Chetty Rajagopal from Heritage Beko. And I'm just delighted to have Suresh Moona, who's such a well-known Bangalorean historian, columnist, and somebody who's so passionate about the city and about keeping its traditions and its heritage alive. So it's an absolute pleasure to have Suresh Moona with us. And even more so on something which is of such interest to the both of us, which is on heritage, of course. But Suresh, you know that when we were first speaking, the Kadlekai Parishe is something that, we realized I myself have not probably seen since I was maybe very much younger. I know so little about. So I was very keen to put it in perspective and have somebody like you share your thoughts. And that has been something which has been really the start point on the inflection point for this discussion today, with Kadlekai Parishe coming in on the 29th and for the first time being celebrated after a 2-year hiatus. Here's a chance for us to hear from someone who knows this inside out, loves the whole ecosystem inside out, and understand this from a really insider's perspective. So here we are, Suresh, you're talking to a layman, somebody who doesn't know much about the festival. You're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to ask you some questions which perhaps would be, something not even in your purview because it's something so basic, but bear with me on this one.
No, it's my pleasure. You can ask any questions, you can interfere. Yeah, being a moderator, you have got every right to interfere.
No. It'll be something that I think we really want to sort of hear from you. So as I said, the background is this, Suresh, that we know, but we know of, but we know so little. And this is such a great time for us to get to grips with this. So I want to thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and expertise on this, and welcome you to the Kadlekai Parishe first episode from Heritage Beko with Suresh Moona. So welcome, Suresh.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go straight into this. We have this festival that's been going on for so many years. People from Bangalore know about it. People from outside of Bangalore may have heard about it, but may not have been, at much either have access or much pains to understand. So let me ask straight away. Let's start with the basics. What is the word? What is the origins, or what is the meaning of the word Parishe? So what is the Kadlekai Parishe all about?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Priya, for inviting me for this Zoom call. And it's such a pleasure for me to talk about Kadlekai Parishe because it happens in Bull Temple Road and the surrounding place. I was in the road that was just next to Bull Temple Road from almost 2004 to 1991 to 2006. So for around 15 years, I was living near the Parshe area. So we used to go every year without a mess, and we used to enjoy the Parshe very much. Well, coming to the basic question that you asked, what is Parshe? What is the significance of the word Parshe? So there is little confusion whether it should be called as Parishe or Parshe. Well, actually, both are same, but the dictionary gives Parishe. Parishe is a gathering of large number of people in festivals like car festivals or cattle fair, such gathering. It's almost it's a holiday crowd. To put it in short, it is a holiday crowd who come and gather to enjoy. They forget all their daily trouble and everything, and they gather here to enjoy with their family members. So that's why the Parisha is the people come here, they enjoy the time, and normally they come here to buy certain things which are normally not available in their daily life. So that is the meaning. Now let me come to this Kadlekai Parishe. Kadlekai Parishe or Parishe, it's same as I told you already. Parishe is colloquially it is called as Parishe. Parishe is a dictionary word, but the meanings are same. So when I tell you Parishe or Parishe, Parishe is easier to talk about. So that's about the significance of the word Parishe.
Thank you so much, Suresh, because we know it and we use the word interchangeably, but Kadlekai Parishe is um, it is what it is. So thanks for the light on that. Now, more exciting part of the Kadlekai Parishe, this is not just some fair or some mela that we have in the city every year. There is a legend, and the legend is exciting. The legend involves a marauding bull. It involves, you know, uh, uh, paying obeisance to something to protect your crop. There's a lot of interesting stories about this. So tell us the legend behind Kadlekai Parishe that makes it culturally and from a tradition point of view so rich for us.
It's a nice thing to talk about legend. It is just like telling stories to children. Okay. In fact, the Bangalore history itself is connected with so many legends. And one of the legends is associated with this bull. There are so many versions of the same legends, but I am going to tell you one version that is normally, told by the main priest who worships in the bull temple. According to this, or according to him, or according to the legend which is commonly spoken or commonly believed, is around this Bugle Rock garden. I'll come to that rock garden and other things in the later part of this discussion. But there was a huge, vast amount of this field, and there was a village called Sunkenhalli in the nearby area. And even today, you do find that small pocket of Sunkenhalli, even today it is there, and just by the side of this Bull Temple Road. And there were many farmers who were normally growing these groundnuts. And one day, it so happened that one bull that used to come in the night and used to eat all the grown crop. And the next day, when the farmers were coming there, they were finding that their crops are missing. It was a mystery for them. So the head of the farmers or the leaders of the farmers wanted to keep a watch on these, whoever is the culprit who is coming and stealing the ground. So he kept a watch, and then he was surprised to see that one bull coming and then eating all the crop there. So 2 or 3 days he watched, and then that was continuously coming. So one day, what he did was he took a big club and then hit the bull while it was eating. But the surprising thing, the exciting thing, the thing that which he did not expect happened, that the bull immediately turned into a stone bull, and it sat in a crouched position. So obviously the farmer was very much scared. So immediately ran back to his house and then called all the other farmers and then told him what has happened. And he was so scared that he did something that is blasphemy for the whole village. And the next day, they came and saw the stone bull there, and they decided to make an amend for the whatever the mistake they have done, to build a wall around the bull, and so that they can build a temple. And they built a little wall of smaller size, and it was in the evening. They went back, and next day when they came, the bull had grown a little taller. So this went on for some time, and the bull went on growing as these people raised the height of the wall. So they were again, worried, and then they didn't know what to do. And then these people suggested to the person who had hit the bull uh, to pray the Lord Shiva to show them the way. So he prayed, and then when he was sleeping, a message or that came to him that very close by to the stone bull, if he dig the earth, he will get a trident, and he can go and place the trident on the forehead of the bull, and would stop growing, and they can build a temple. So when he came next day, and he dug the ground, and we did find one trident, and they kept it on the forehead of the bull. And afterwards, they built the wall. The bull did not grow, and afterwards they built a temple. But to make amends for what they did, they took a vow that they would give the first crop of the groundnut. They offered the first crop of the groundnut to the bull because the bull had liked that. So they started doing that, and they came and they would bring it in a big baskets and then offered it. And normally they started doing it in the month of November because it is the month of lights, which is a very, very auspicious month for the people who are living around. So like this, it started as a very, very small fair confined to a particular group of farmers or a particular group of villagers. But as the time went on, this the news that if you offer your first crop to the bull, your crop will be growing well in the next year, and you'll be able to sell the crops with more profits, more money coming, and all that. So the news spread like wildfire, and more farmers from the surrounding areas, they started coming and offering this, groundnut to the bull. So it continued for so many years, and even after so many decades, the people who were living in the village, that is Sunkenali, they sold their land and then they went to different places. But they don't forget to come on the first day of this Kartika or the month of November or Kadlekai Parishe. And even today, the chief priest says they would come and offer the groundnuts to the bull. So this is the main legend associated with Kadlekai Parishe, how the bull came. Well, this is the legend part. I will also tell you the history part of it associated with this only because I have to tell you why such a huge size of the bull that is there, which is one of the very rare mammoth structure that you find in the entire country. One of the few in the state of Karnataka, one you find in Hampi and one you find in Mysore Chamadi Hills. So it's a huge structure. But coming to the history part, very quickly I'll go through it. Kempegowda, when he started building his dream city, he wanted to build the outskirts some temples for Ganesha, Anjaneya, Basvana, and all that. The belief was that if you build these temples in the outskirts, they would ward off the ill effects on the village, on the town, so that people's welfare is assured. So, like that, he built Amma temple the other side of the town. He built Anjaneya here, and for him it was so convenient because the rock garden was already there. The science part of the rock garden is, quickly I will tell you, these rocks are called peninsular gneiss. These are all very, very hard rock layer that is there. The entire city of Bangalore is based on this. That's why we don't get normally very huge earthquakes. We hardly get tremors. A very huge eruption of this could be seen behind Glass House in Lal Bagh. But in other parts of the city also you can sense such eruptions. They're all high grounds or hillocks. So rock garden is one such hillock where you have many varied sizes of rocks and gardens. When Kempegowda found here, he found that these rocks are suitable to carve the images of bull and also Ganesha. So he employed sculptures, and Kempegowda was known for making huge things. If you go to Gavigangadhareshwara or if you see the Someshwara temple, he wanted to do things in a big way. So that's how the huge bull and also huge Ganesha, that's why it's called Dodda Ganesha, that's why it's called Dodda Baswanna. Dodda, it means huge, mammoths. So structures are done. Of course, some historians do differ from this, and there's a school of thought, it belongs to different period. But the general belief and the general notion is that it is built during Kempegowda's period. And subsequently, Kadlekai Parishe also was associated with this. So this is the legend and also the history part.
Fascinating. Suresh, I have got to tell you that, some of this I didn't know. I know about the story of the bull, but this part where, the farmer struck the bull and he fell where he stood, and he fell on his knees, and the fact that he kept growing. Absolutely fascinating. I was listening to you with completely sort of stock still and saying, we really need to know. But
It's
what
one
an
of the
amazing
versions,
story.
there are so many other versions, but this is the one of normally believed version, normally told version, particularly by the chief priest who, offers puja there, tells this
I
version.
would be very happy to hear. Yeah. No, I would be very happy to hear any other version as well, because for me, it's about storytelling. And it's so amazing that, these stories kind of make it so real. I'm sure the next time when we go either to the, either we go to the Kadlekai Parishe or we go to Bull Temple, it sort of comes alive for us in a way that it never normally will. Because what is said in a book and what is vividly described as you have is very, very different. So you're saying the this is the legend, and this is the. I'm just going to mute. Sorry, there's a bit of a noise. Just give me a
Yeah,
second. Yeah, sorry about that. So we, this is the legend that you mentioned, and you also talked about the history as in
yeah,
associated with the
yeah,
empire
yeah,
and when it started, and the related uh, keeping, sort of immuring yourself against any evil by propitiating
yeah,
the
yeah,
bull and propitiating the gods.
yeah.
So that's a great segue into my next question, which is, there is obviously a lot of it's spread over what, Suresh, about 465 years, 463 years. How long
Yeah,
has been in?
around 400 to 465 years. See,
So over 465.
1537 is the year of founding of the Bangalore. Somewhere in 1540, 45, this must have started. So around
Yeah.
400 and odd years, it has been happening. And of course, it has taken various dimensions, particularly in the recent decades. I'll come to that part in the later part of this discussion, how it has become
Absolutely.
an iconic festival. Okay.
I would be very, very, I mean, I think all of us would be very interested to know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, as a segue into the next question, which is, we talked about the legends associated with the bull and the event, but in in real terms, who started this really? And the descendants, are they still continuing the tradition? What has been the passing on? Who from and who to?
yeah. I told you already in my previous this one also, but I do reiterate that the farmers who were residing here, particularly the Sunkenaldi farmers, they started this because they wanted to, please the bull, and they started offering their first crop of groundnuts. But gradually it spread to other parts. But uh, yeah, after over a few decades, the news spread even to the neighboring states also. First, it was the other district around Bengaluru, and afterwards it spread to the other state, other districts also. And later on, it spread to even neighboring states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. Today, if you go to the fair, you will see many, many Tamil speaking, Telugu speaking people coming here and selling their crop of this groundnut. So obviously, it started with the farmers in the nearby area, and gradually it spread to other places and even to the other states also. Now, coming to the last part of your question here, are the people who started the entire process, are they continuing the process even now? Are their descendants doing this? Yes, the answer for that is yes. Because the chief priest says on the first day itself, wherever these people are, their descendants, I'm telling you, after 4 centuries, even today, they do come with their crop because they're also growing groundnuts even today elsewhere in other parts of the state or other parts, other districts of Bangalore, around Bangalore, they do bring, gunny bags of this groundnut. They not only offer it, they would do abhisheka, they would do, complete, the whole bull is, the complete groundnut is poured over the huge structure. It is a sight to see how groundnuts poured on the bull and it coming down and falling in heaps. under the foot of the bull. So the process is being still continued, and the descendants of the farmers who started this process are still continuing, but it is spread to other parts, and the other people are also coming and doing it. Maybe they are also doing the same thing. They bring their first crop and then they offer it to the bull, and after they start selling the groundnut here. I think that stands for the your question. Hello.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There has been that aspect also, Suresh, that it is, while it is certainly Karnataka centric, it has spread to
Neighboring
neighboring
states.
states. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so Tamil Nadu, Andhra
Yeah.
Pradesh, etc. They have a very strong tradition of attending and also being part of this. So that's something that kind of helps explain,
I'll tell you one
why
more
this happens.
thing. As the November begins, you'll be
Yeah,
surprised, particularly in the area of this Basungudi and surrounding area. Even from
yeah.
the beginning of November month itself, you'll see many, many Tamilians. They bring their push carts and then they sell the groundnuts. So the selling of the groundnuts from the beginning of the November start from these neighboring state, farmers. It's only during the festival you see, all of them gather here and then start selling. But the Tamilians will be the first people to start selling the groundnuts. It's really fascinating to know that fact.
It's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
please.
No, that's
Yeah,
uh,
carry on, please.
Suresh, I'm just trying to understand, and I'm going to ask you to describe the festival a little bit for us, but that a little later, because visually, while my virtual screen shows a little bit of maybe what I've taken from the Karnataka tourism site of the
Yeah,
groundnut fair, maybe about
yeah, that's a nice backdrop you have.
yeah. I kind of liked it. I love the color of it and the fact there were so many different things going on. It's not just the groundnuts; it's so much more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I hope that you will also help us visualize it, because there's so much going on, and it's all it's about the magic and that sparkle of the whole festival,
Yes,
rather than just a groundnut fair. It sounds very blank and very boring when I just say groundnut fair or Kadlekai
yeah,
Parishe.
yeah, yeah.
There's so much more than that. But I want to take it a little forward. My question, especially in 2021, Suresh, is how did this event become such an iconic event in the city? And related to that, I just want to also put in context that we are very grateful to the the BBMP for enabling and allowing the festival this year, because you have crowds that go up to 6 lakhs. Of course, there will be a lot of controls given the COVID issue. But for the first time, I think in the history of Kadlekai Parishe, in its 463-year-old history, the first time for 2 years, the festival was held in a very, very minimal way or not held at all.
Yeah,
So this is the first recurrence, first start after a 2-year break.
yeah, yeah.
The whole of Bangalore, I mean, as our cultural tradition, we're waiting to see. So, what is it that makes it so iconic? What is it that has become such a calendared excitement for Bangalore?
See, I have been seeing this purchase since last 40 years, almost 4 decades. Since almost 78, 79, I have been seeing this because I am a resident of Basungudi and I was also living just close by to this Bull Temple Road. See, during 1970s and 80s, it was not such a big affair because it used to be around the Bull Temple, and it also used to spread not on the Bull Temple Road so much as we see today. Today, you can even up to Ramakrishna Square, even beyond that, also you can see the people selling the not only groundnut and even other materials also. But earlier decades, say during 60s and 50s, I have spoken to many elders, and this groundnut fair was more spread behind the Bull Temple, like in the NR colony, because there was the water hole lies mentioned in the earlier, and also towards the Jubal Rock Park, Mallikarjuna Temple, and all that. But later, say somewhere in 1980 onwards, slowly Bangalore started opening up and real estate boom taking place. And particularly Bangalore was open to industrial, information technology sector. And by 90, you have, Bangalore came to be known as Silicon Valley, and people coming from various parts of the country and also from other places, they started coming and settled down here. They were working in MNCs, and most of them were settling in the eastern and western part of Bengaluru. But the southern part of Bengaluru, particularly South Bangalore, is known as an intellectual constituency, even during parliamentary elections also. So the people here, particularly the youngsters, and they became engineers, and they started working in MNCs, which were either in Whitefield or Electronic Cities and some other places. So the youngsters, they were going there, and they've been seeing this fair from their childhood. So they would tell their colleagues, and then they bring them to this fair, and in turn they would tell their family members. So that's how it started spreading, and the people started coming over here. So by 1980 and 90, as I could see, we were going after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening, because there was such a big crowd that used to be. I could see youngsters, particularly people who were working in MNCs, coming and buying the not only groundnut and even other toys, and they were enjoying the whole show. So by 2000, it became so big, and the people not only were selling the ground nets, they were selling all sorts of things, that are used by people, particularly women folk in particular. So they were attracting all these people, and the stall started slowly growing downwards, and then it went even up to Ramakrishna Square, and beyond that, sometimes I could see it even touching Uma Theatre also. So obviously, by 2010, it became so well known. I tell you, even when I come to Karga, I tell you the difference. Even it is more popular than Karga. So obviously, it has become an iconic show. Now it is not just Basungudi residents coming over here. In fact, to tell you frankly, Basungudi people, they don't come during the day. They don't come during 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock like me. We go after 10 o'clock, because it will be there up to 12 o'clock or 1 a.m. also it will be there. Even then, people will be there, donuts will be sold. So we go and enjoy, because there will be less crowd. But if you go by 7 o'clock or if you go by 4 o'clock, you see many, many youngsters clad in the modern attire. You can see them coming here, enjoying the whole festival. So that's why it has become an iconic event in the city, because of the spread of the word, and because of the spread of the nature of festival that is very popular with these MNCs. So that's how it has become an iconic event now. But unfortunately, as you told clearly, particularly last 2 years due to COVID, when these events did not happen, we used to feel we have lost something, that is connected to us. We were connecting with this festival very much. We never used to miss even 1 year going and buying. It's almost become a norm for us to go and buy the groundnuts, and also stuffed this puri and all that, and sweets we have to bring. That has become almost a norm. So last 2 years, we felt we missed something, a part of our life. So now we are happy that's coming back again. But I don't think it will be in such a big way, because of the restriction that is put by the BBMP, because of the COVID norms. Of course, we can't help that. But still, I think it attracts the present generation very much. So that's how it has become an iconic event of the city.
It's grown from strength to strength, as it were. Yeah. So it's grown in many avatars. The first slightly more structured, where it was. Then you have, the number of people, especially the IT capital, sort of expanding it and looking forward to it as almost like a tourist kind of attraction. And then adding so many layers, because more items were sold, and therefore it became more eye-catching for people to go there in general. So there are many. I can see that the evolution of it has made it even more iconic. And there are going to be a lot more, interesting little sidelights, which I hope that you will also share. I noticed that the Malleshwaram Kadlekai Parishe has also started yesterday, and in a smaller way, of course. But it's so nice to see that that is also work. That's also something that is happening. And I would also like to quickly share, if anybody has a question or would like to sort of jump in with something, please feel free to put up your hand. I can't see a chat here, but please feel free to just put up a hand, and I'm happy to sort of drag you in for a question. Suresh, I want to go back to, now that we've covered the reason why it's so iconic. I want to hark back to the.
Just a minute. I would like to add one more point in this. Now, you see, the Kadlekai Parishe is not only confined to Baswangudi area. So gradually it has spread to other places also. Even Malleshwara, as you just now mentioned, they also do this groundnut fair. And it's also done in Anical and some other places also it's being done. So there is a general belief with the farmers that if they give the first crop to the god, offer it to particularly to the land bull, they would get the good business, good crop next year and all that. So now they need not come to Baswangudi at all for this. So wherever they are, they would start this, and then surrounding village people they would come. So that's how the mini grounded fairs have been started. That's how Malleshwaram Parishe started. This is true with Karga. This is true with Dasara also. So you have not only in Mysore, Dasara takes place in many places. They take, for example, in Bangalore itself, Munreddy Palya, Dasara is 100 years old, which is connected with Mysore lands. It's of course, it's a very big story and very interesting story, how Dasara started in Munreddy Palya. So like that, this Parsha also is spread over now, and many people in various other places also doing this. It's a very good development indeed. Yeah,
and brings me to the next question, which is, you're bringing up a lot of interesting points. So the fact that while it has always been local, as in sort of around the Nandi, the bull, which is the origins of the festival, now it's also associated with the date. And I want you to share a little bit about the whole thing of Kartik, and maybe some points about that. But I want to ask you about this, as I said, this other phenomenal festival that we are so closely associated with in Bangalore, and something that we take such pride and such such excitement. The Karaga itself is absolutely fascinating to watch. I know that COVID has really taken a lot of things in the backseat, and I cannot say we're all grateful to be alive, and we're all grateful that we have a chance now to celebrate. But I know that we have to celebrate with responsibility. But tell me about how you see these two festivals, Suresh, the Karaga and the Kadlekai Parishe. How do you see the two festivals?
At the outset, I should not compare both.
Yeah,
They're both are
that's
different.
true.
But still, if you want me to compare, Karaga, it is confined to one temple, of course, as this is also confined to related with Baswana. There it is related with Dharmaraya Swami temple. But what happens with Karaga is the Karaga is not static; it is moving. The Karaga carrier is start from Dharmaraya Swami temple and moves in the smaller lanes and by lanes and goes to almost all the temples that exist there for so many year decades and centuries, and gets the puja that is offered by the respective deities, and after it moves and throughout the night it moves and comes back to the Dharmaraya Swami temple, and the people also move along with the Karga. But the movement of the Karga is confined to smaller lanes and by lanes. So the business people, like what they do in Basungudi, they cannot put the heaps of either groundnut or any other eatable materials or any toys like that on the sides of the roads, because the roads are too small. And moreover, people won't stay, they'll be moving. And moreover, behind the Karga, so many other chariots are moving. So everything is moving here, nothing is static there. But that is not so with Kadlekai Parishe. Here, when once the festival starts, people are moving, but the other sellers, they can be static. They can position themselves even a weeks earlier. They come and pick the tents. They start heaping, the ground nets. The process starts from tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So they will be there till the third day of the Kartika, 29th, 30th, and first, like that, they will be there. So this is a main difference where the sellers are having the advantage of taking part in Kadlekai Parishe than in Karga, where they cannot sell their products as they can do in Baswamkadi. Because the people are moving, the chariots are moving, the gods are moving, everything is moving over there. And more than anything else, it's a very narrow lanes and balance. Even the OTC road where the Karga starts, that is Old Taluk Kacheri Road. OTC is many people, uh, many people, many people do not know the abbreviation of OTC. That's called Old Taluk Kacheri Road, where you have this Dharmaraya Swami temple. So it starts and then continues. Of course, leave the other preparatory days, not much of the crowd will be there. But on the day of the Karga, a lot of people will be there. It moves in a very small road that OTC start from here and ends at Gutchedya Road. It's a very one of the longest roads we have, but the road is not wider. So obviously, people cannot gather and station themselves there. So there's a main difference between Karga and Kadlekai Parishe.
Got it. I hear you, and I also, relate to what you're saying in that you can't compare both because they're so very different, but they're both very different. Yeah, but they're both traditions, and
you can compare like this.
yeah, yeah.
Please.
So I mean, the whole idea is, it's just that both of these are so iconic and so well associated, so intrinsically associated with Bangalore that you tend to think about both of them in context of our cultural heritage. But thank you for pointing it out because one, as you said, is on the move, narrow paths. There, it's not that you can just go when you want. You can go at 8 o'clock or you can go at 7 o'clock. You have to be part of a moving,
Yes,
literally a cavalcade, and
and
that's
it's
the
one
whole
day.
excitement.
And it's one day.
And it's one day.
Almost a week you can come here and see this.
That's right. It's concentrated on those 2 days, but it's a week that it goes on, and it's
Yeah.
very much formalized.
Yeah. Tell me.
And both have a very different
Yeah.
element of Bangalore's history, a different element of one has an element also of economics and commercial because it's the groundnut festival. It's an economic focus of the farmer. So many different things I can see. And but now, Suresh, I'm not going to let you.
Karga is also associated with wonderful legend, but I'm not going to that part of it because time we are running out of the time. So we'll come back to the next point, please.
No such thing about running out of time. We have all the time in the world. But I'm not going to let you go, Suresh, without telling us all the little hidden gems about the Kadlekai Parishe, which I know you have up your sleeve. There's so many different things. And when we were talking maybe last week when we were setting up this, thinking about setting up this conversation, I was sharing with you, I said, I am such a layman. You're addressing the idiot in the room, somebody like me who wants to know but doesn't know and really wants to relate. So you have given me so many wonderful insights. But through our conversation, I heard a lot of different little nuggets that you were coming up with, a lot of interesting little sidelights. So don't think you're going to get away without telling us a little of those stories that make it so incredibly relatable and exciting, and also something that makes us connect so much more with the Kadlekai Parishe. So tell us all the hidden gems, Suresh.
See, we cannot see Kadlekai Parishe as just a fair. There are various other things connected with Kadlekai Parishe and also the Bull Temple, around which the Kadlekai Parishe started happening. 2 or 3 things are there, which quickly I'll go through. Number one is, all the people or most of the people who come to Parishe invariably visit the Bull Temple also. They go and offer their prayers. But if you closely observe, at the left foot of this mammoth sculpture, there is a 17th century inscription which says a rivulet or a spring called Vrishabhavati. Vrishabha is bull. We gave feminine this one to the rivers. So it is a it's a bull river or things like that. We can roughly translate it to English. So that originates from the foot of this. It runs backward to the temple, gets collected in a very big depression that was formed over there. It was a water hole. In fact, I have the photographs of great photographers of Bengaluru, like C. Rajgopal, who was the great grandson of C. Rangacharyu, and also G. Thomas's contemporary. They have captured a wonderful picture of these water holes. Anyway, I'm not going to Rishabhavati River, that's a separate subject by itself, but we did have, Priya, I tell you, it's a very sad thing that we did have a wonderful rivulet, a wonderful spring running through Bangalore hardly 7 to 8 decades back, where people used to drink, used to swim, and were using to grow vegetable. That's a different thing. Now it has become a different story altogether. So this is one thing which you should never miss whenever you come to Kadlekai Parishe, and this is also associated with Kadlekai. Point number two, see, Kadlekai Parishe or Downnet Fair comes in the month of November. According to our Indian calendar, November is also the month of Kartika. Kartika is a month of lights. See, almost in our state, not only in Bangalore, South Bangalore, almost in our state during this month, every house, they light lamps and keeps in front of they keep in front of their front door. So here, obviously, since it starts during the month of Kartika, it is said that during Kempegowda's period only, he wanted to illuminate the whole park for the festival. So at that time, there was no electricity. There was no, other any source of illuminating the whole thing. But hats off to the people who were advanced in their technology of that time. What they did was, particularly the sculptors, they made bigger holes in almost all the rocks of this rock garden, Bugle Rock. So even today, if you go there, you will see number of these pits or hollows, and on almost all these rocks. And there is a bigger one, the round in shape. There is a smaller one inside. There is also an inscription on one of the rocks which says that one person was a supervisor to look after the illumination of the whole park. Then what was the strategy that was adopted to illuminate the park? No, it is like this. They used to have a bamboo pipe or a metallic pipe. They would stuff the pipe with a soaked, oil-soaked cotton or the cloth, and fill the entire pit with oil in they would do so for the entire, park, all the holes. So obviously,
sorry, can I interrupt you? You just start again from the oil-filled cloth, because the screen just went a little silent at that point. Sorry.
oil-filled
You said so. They used to have a pipe,
yeah,
and they used to put oil-filled cloths and cotton in that. Yeah.
See, what the strategy adopted by those people was, they used to have bamboo pipes or the metallic pipes. They used to stuff it or fill it with oil-soaked cotton or the some other cloth, and then they would fill the oil, these pits. And in today's this one, it comes to around 2 to 3 kgs or 3 to 4 liters of oil, and they would fix the lighted torch or the bamboo pipe into the smaller hole. It would fix and stand straight, and you can see the burning torch. They would do so for almost all the pits around there. And I have spoken to these villagers about 30 to 40 years back only. I have spoken. They would remember that their great grandfathers have seen the illumination of this park. It could be seen even today, even at that time, from elevated places like Mahalakshmi Layout, Ragigudda, or Rajaji Nagar. From such places, they could see. It is obvious, at that time, the trees were not grown so taller, the buildings were not so taller. Obvious, they could have seen this illumination from such points. Imagine the sight of the entire rock garden being illuminated when the groundnuts are being sold by these people the puja is going in the temple. What a great, local flavor of the typical old Bangalore culture would
Yeah.
be completely seen at that time. So this is another very important point. Another very small, this one connected with this, I will tell you before concluding. Behind Bull Temple, there is another temple called Mallikarjuna Temple. That's a different story altogether. There's a fantastic, very interesting anecdotes are there connected with that Mallikarjuna Temple. But I'm not going to the detail. But I'm again coming to the light festival. Today morning, today is Monday. I went to the temple to see the people coming over there. They come on all these during this month. All the Mondays they would come, and all the women folk, they would bring the plate, they would put some rice and to put two anates or small lamps and then offer it to Lord Shiva over there. And Belave Venkatananappa, who built the temple, okay, he used to bring the lights, such serial lights from his house and would, illuminate the whole temple at that time, even about 6 to 7 decades back. So the entire affair, entire Kadlekai Parishe, or the pits over there, or Mallikarjuna Swami temple, everything is associated with the month of November or Kartika festival. See, look at the link between Kartika,
Yes.
Kadlekai Parishe temple. So many things are associated with Kadlekai Parishe. So when we look at Kadlekai Parishe, we cannot just look at it as a fair or a economical this one and all that, but you should also look at these smaller negates, as you said, which gives you fantastic inputs for the entire Kadlekai Parishe itself.
Absolutely. No, no, no. I should really say thank you, because for me, you have brought alive, the whole visual. I'm just trying to think of these little pits in the rock garden being lit up. This tall pole,
Have
shedding
you
light on.
seen? Have you seen them?
No, actually, I'm not. Which is why you're motivating me to do this. This is something I must see.
Come to Baswangudi. I'll do a walk for Baswangudi and I'll take you all around Bugle Rakpar.
So is that a promise, Suresh? I'm taking you up on it.
Yeah.
It is, I absolutely will take you up on it. And I hope many other people,
Yeah.
will do this, because I'm going to respond to these little, I wouldn't say, they're not just nuggets, they're part of the whole thing, but at the same time, they're sidelights. Some of it is not the main issue, but some of it builds it up and adds that layer, adds that,
Yes.
that sense of, granularity. It's so robust when we talk about these different elements, the Mallikarjunan temple, these lights, the fact that the Kartikeyan festival, so, all of this sort of comes together. But for
Yeah.
me, the visual of having
Community
each
illumination.
person, light up lamps like this, and I can just imagine how beautiful it would look. I hope that if I Google today, I'll be able to find a picture or a painting. I won't find a picture, I know, but a painting, maybe an old one, of how this would have looked from an artist's imagination. And that's
And
utterly enchanting.
one more point, Priya. See, when particularly for the tourism department, you are in touch with them, we have to tell them at least for a little portion of this, rocks where these pits are there, they should revive that process of putting that bamboo pipes and lighting the torch, what they were doing about 4 centuries back.
Yeah.
That should be done. That will be very interesting for the present generation to come here. They will definitely, as you said, it was exciting. They would come to know that these pits were done for that purpose. And they'll be amazed to see the technology that was adopted 400 years back. What a strategy they adopted. It's really amazing for me.
Absolutely. And these are the things that make it enduring and make it more
Yeah.
iconic. So, and thanks so much. As I said, I'm going to sort of keep that lovely visual of the rock garden and all these different things, the trident, the bowl, the farmers coming from different places,
Yeah.
the way it's evolved. But most of it is rooted in our own history, and some of its evolution, what we need to hold on to, which of course people like yourself, Suresh, are helping us to do. Because unless we have that connection, we love our city, but we are looking, somehow all the roots that we have with it are breaking away. And we are really
That's
trying
very
now
true.
from Heritage Baku, we're trying now to look at people like me, Suresh. I mean, I'm not going to mess around with this. I don't know as much as I'd like to. So when people like yourself who are not just historians but so passionate, so embedded in this culture yourself, understood it, experienced it, when you share, I think a lot of people will want to at least pop in for a bit and see what it's like. So I hope this happens this year. And I'm going to give you the final word, Suresh, in a couple of minutes. But I want to also just quickly state that from Heritage Beko, it's been something which is very, very important to all of us as a citizen initiative to reconnect with not just the built and natural heritage, which is such an obvious part of what we do, but also this very much more intangible, cultural, very the soft feeling, the almost like light cotton wool of what really makes us Bangalore. So I hope with this series, Suresh, we're able to do a few more that allow us this insight into what really makes
I love today.
Bangalore and us what it is.
I love today. No problem at all.
I will. And don't forget, you promised to take me on that walk. So
Yeah,
I'm
why
not
not?
going to let you go.
I know
So
you won't leave me.
no, I won't. But this is so exciting and so wonderful. And I'm sure all of us will want to be a part of it. I also want to tell you that though we're going to have another talk on this to get even more layers, which I think you've been so exhaustive, there's very little left to say.
But
But having said,
one thing, Priya, just one thing I tell you. See, still we have got 1 week's time. Can you sensitize any of the officials like your Gaurav Gupta or any such higher officials, either in the BBMP or in the tourism department, to immediately think of this? See, just by the side of the steps that is going to the Bull Temple, on the side there were a lot of trees. Now they have cut smaller trees were there. They've cut and they cleared the space. There is a huge rock. On the rock there are 7 to 8 such pits. See, people need not go inside deeper into the Bugle Park, but this is just by the side of the step itself. And there is a barricade and a fencing also. So the people need not go and they won't be allowed to go and touch all these things.
yeah,
They can at least clear these pits of water and the other things that are collected over there.
yeah,
And they illuminate, as I told you in that forum, so that the now only people who come there will come to know about this. And most important, and my mission in life is they should put a plan that gives the background of these pits, why they were made at that point, and they do this, the filling up of these pits with the lights. Then it becomes completely meaningful Kadlekai Parishe.
fantastic. Suresh, I will do this tonight. I'll take a little bit of inputs from you. We'll write a note across from Heritage Beko, request for this to be done. Having a poster put up should not be a problem, explaining this. Let's try and do this from Heritage Beko with your inputs. You are a pillar of Heritage Beko yourself, but this small input can make a lot of difference in the
Yeah,
way that the festival is consumed, absorbed, and hopefully taken forward. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to give you the final word, Suresh, but I want to, as I said, from Heritage Beko, very, very gratefully acknowledge that we've had a chance to get to know something which not all of us know as well as we would like to. So this is our first chance of getting there. The second thing which I do want to leave on the table is, with COVID still on the table, still a concern, I'm very conscious that we have to be extremely careful in masking and distancing, even in something as exciting and as close as this. So I hope that that is something that is maintained. And as a corollary to that, what we were really hoping to do from Heritage Beko is have some of our teenage heritage warriors go across and explain and be there, be part of it, but stream it live. So those like us who may be a little nervous or maybe a little concerned or have had some health issues can at least experience it secondhand till we are even in a better space next year. So
yeah.
those two things of what you've given us as homework to do, the promise of taking us for the little walk yourself, which you said,
Good.
and the third thing of being very conscious from a health issue that we should be respectful of all the COVID norms that are in place. The
Yeah.
last word to you, Suresh, before we wind up.
Yeah, as I told you, it's a very important, you see, Kadlekai Parishe and Basungudi, they are inseparable part, Basungudi's culture and in general Bangalore culture and Basungudi flavor, local flavor could be experienced when you come to the Kadlekai Parishe. And of course, as a local or a Basungudi resident, I would welcome every person from Bangalore, from other parts to come and enjoy, of course, with all the COVID norms, as you have been repeatedly telling, and enjoy the fair. Not only that, also try to know all this, all the history that I told you about, many other places that are surrounding the Bull Temple and other places, and also this Kadlekai Parishe. So I am also equally happy to share my whatever I knew. It's a very little part of Bangalore history I knew. I believe that I hardly know about 10 to 20% of the whole Bangalore history, in spite of my studying for the last 30, 40 years. No, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not growing up, because the Bangalore history is like, it's like a gold mine. You go on digging and you'll get the layers of the gold. I'm not growing up. So I welcome everyone to come and see this. And I thank you, Priya, in particular, and Heritage Beku in general, and all the people who have attended this Zoom seminar for patiently hearing me. And I hope I've given them and you some useful inputs, and also sensitized to go to Kadlekai Parishe on 29th, 30th, and actually experience the local flavor. You'll get that vigor of the old Bangalore.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much, Suresh. Let's get excited about Kadlekai Parishe. So from Heritage Beku, next session and the walk, we've got our homework all set.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for patiently listening in. And sorry there was no chat and Q&A, but tune in to the next session, which we are planning to have on the 27th. And I think it's going to be exciting. We have a postcard that is going to be made, augmented reality postcard that's going to be made by Vivek Jain of Flipar, especially for this event. So that should be good. Good night, everyone, and thank you for listening. Thank you once again, Suresh, for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.